everyone. Welcome to Get Your Paint On here this Thursday, December 9th. This is not December, January 9th.
Every time,
without fail, I got to screw it up. All right. Good morning, everybody. Good to see you after the long break. It's been a few weeks. I'm excited to be back. I'm joined here with Tony.
Good morning.
And Hungerford.
I'm painting today.
Yeah, he's in a different spot than usual.
Yeah.
We're shaking it up. You know, a few new things for the new year.
Yeah.
We're bringing him in, and I'm going to make him paint, which I'm super excited about.
I paint a lot.
Yeah, you do.
just cut the stream.
All right, a couple things to go over before we get into the painting portion of the stream. We got stream schedule. Tomorrow, Friday 10th, we've got Hobby Hangout with Brian McLaughlin and Danny Samuels. That should be super fun. I'm not sure exactly what the content is.
I think Brian is going to be going over how to do some more of the detailing on his flame guard.
Nice. His flame guard are sweet.
Yeah.
I've gotten a chance to check those guys up close, and they look real awesome. Over to subscriptions here real quick. Still trying to get to the Loot Coin, 120 subs. Remember, everybody, if you have an Amazon Prime subscription, you do get a free 1-month subscription. So we would love to receive that sub towards our sub goal.
Let's get that coin.
Huh?
I want to get that coin.
I want to get that coin, too. And I want to say thank you to all our subscribers who are already subscribed. So thank you very much. Let's go on to mini crates, everybody. Got the Grim Stalker, which is available through January 19th. What?
Keep going. I didn't say anything.
Hungerford's got this beautiful face on right now, which I'd like him to continue on for when we have the dual cameras up, because it's just great. And it makes me feel like I'm doing something wrong.
I haven't said a word.
Yeah, I know. We've got the VIP Transfer Dancer, which is available through February 19th. For mini crate, the L5R mini crate, we got a lot of stuff changing in mini crates. Doji Ren is new, available through February 5th. And still have the VIP Tengu Sensei, which might actually be one of my favorite mini crate models I've ever seen.
It's beautiful.
Through May 5th.
It's a sick bird angel.
Yeah.
It's not. Don't. No, it's not a sick bird. It's very healthy.
No, my bad.
And athletic. Look at that.
I meant sick, like sick
Prancing.
nasty. Anyway.
Anyways, we've got the Savage mini crate, everybody. Zelto Tune, available through January 12th, which is this last week is the week you can get both of these.
Yeah.
Because both of these expire as of January 12th. So if you guys want to get either of these models, either sign up for the subscription to get Zelta Tune or sign up for the VIP subscription to get King Conan before it switches over. All right, on to painting time.
Yeah. What are we painting today?
What are we painting today?
We're painting
Hungerford?
Thamarite Advocate.
I actually love this model. This model's great. I'm super excited to paint this.
Even if you don't play an army that can use this as a model in War Machine and Hordes, this is a fantastic RPG villain.
Yes. I'm definitely sad that I can't use it in any of the armies that I currently play, but
Time for a new army.
Still excited to paint it.
Always time for a new army.
So I
Shaking my paint up.
am at a loss for what color I should paint this. So I'm going to leave it to chat to decide what color I'm going to paint the dress.
So I'm painting my dress in purple, and I'm going to do beaten purple because I really like it. Mm-hmm. Then I'm going to mix that with some coal black and some mixing medium for the shade, and then I'm going to highlight using Murderous Magenta. So I'm interested to see what that looks like. At least that's my plan.
It's a great highlight for beaten purple.
Yeah, that's my plan. I, of course, will coordinate with you as I'm doing all of this to see if you have any ideas.
Hungerford, watch your
right.
hair.
Oh, sorry.
There we go.
Is my head getting there? This is my first time painting on the stream, so I am not 100% used to the...
He's got to be careful that not get his face in the paint.
Yeah, I got to not get my face in there, not get my head in there. I'm not used to the painting cameras as it was.
All right, everybody, what color should I go? What do you think?
That's right about the consistency I want right there.
It's okay. We can give Hungerford a few minutes of a head start because I'll catch up to him pretty fast.
Oh yeah, you're a professional painter, right? So let's
Amethyst Rose, is that a recommended color? I don't actually know if we have Amethyst Rose over here.
Alec M. Luda is recommending orange, and Ryan Cartwright wants something with green.
Green?
Yeah.
I was actually neon green. I don't know about neon green. I mean, I can do a bright green.
Well, no, I'm seeing just regular old greens, but that
Regular
is
green.
2 for greens.
I can do green. Green
Cool
would be
green
cool.
dress.
I haven't done green in a while, like green.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Let's do green. I'm feeling green.
My God, this purple. It's
purpley.
It's so beautiful. This is exactly the color I wanted. Like, you know how sometimes you get a color out of a paint pot, and then when you actually apply it to the model, there's a slight shift sometimes?
Yeah. Well, I mean, beaten purple is very much that. It applies a lot lighter than it comes out of the pot.
But it's
as.
coming out like exactly like how I wanted it. Let's kind of get up under there.
Green it is. Making the executive decision. We're going for it.
Look at that. See, I like that already. That green. It's looking good.
So which green did you go with?
This is Iosin green.
Iosin green.
Yeah, so we're probably going to use a combination of Iosin green, Gnarls green, maybe not some worm green. I'm not sure what else colors we're going to use, or what other colors rather I'm going to use, but we'll get to it when we get to it.
Do you like one thing that stuck out just looking at it is like, would dark accents on that be cool? Like the part of the dress above where you're painting or down below, like just some nice stark dark.
Well,
colors?
I think this green is going to end up being darker. Like this is a pretty bright base coat,
Right.
And I'm going to take it a lot darker.
Okay.
And I might do some like coal black accents. So like I might do this like bottom layer in like a coal black because it's still got a little bit of that green in there. Looks really, really nice. But I'm going to pick out all the places that I want to have this kind of brighter green in, and then we'll go from there. Ooh, pale accents, pale yellow is not a bad idea either. I do like painting yellow on top of my greens a lot.
I know some people do not paint all the undersides, like the part you're never going to see of a model, right? Like the bottom bits. I'm an underside painter. Like if I can get my brush there and I know it exists, even if after you've put the model on the base and you've based it, you're never ever going to see that. I have to.
Well, I mean, you know that it exists.
I know that it
you're a
exists, and that
completionist?
is,
And if you're painting for yourself, then you gotta.
and that is a problem for me.
It's not a problem. There's nothing wrong with that. Did you guys enjoy your holiday vacations while y'all were gone?
I did. I was out for a couple weeks. It was very regenerative. Spent a lot of time with family, but also got some time to myself to hang out. And yeah, fun with the kids. We got a fish tank, so they've been spending most mornings and evenings. They have little chairs pulled up in front of it to watch it like it's a television. It's pretty cute.
Cool. Nice.
I went to the bayou.
Yeah, I heard that you took a venture back to home.
I did, and had a great many adventures. Had some good homemade gumbo, Boudin Etouffee.
Delicious.
My girlfriend has never been to Louisiana, so she got to experience for the first time the joys and majesty of the bayou.
What it's like.
What is? Tell me what.
And
is,
she didn't leave me. Hell yeah.
remind me what etouffee is.
Etouffee is basically,
Delicious.
it's like take seafood, rice, and a roux-based thick, almost red sauce, and eat it.
How have I never had this before? It's not only fun to say, but it sounds delicious.
You typically won't find it outside of more Caribbean-based cultures, especially like Cajun culture.
Yeah.
That's where it's most prevalent. There are other places that serve it.
I mean, is it pretty easy to make?
Well, making a roux is not an easy thing. Making a roux, which is like the core of making a lot of the best Cajun food, especially gumbo, is about 30 to 45 minutes of just pure stirring. Like you cannot leave the roux as you are cooking it.
Are you making a lot of like it's just flour and butter, right?
Flour?
The
No,
roux?
no,
No?
no. It's flour and lard,
lard.
People nowadays. There's a lot more people using oil, flour and oil, but you have to keep stirring it. If you don't, you'll burn your roux. And there are some heathens that think that burnt roux is the way to go, but they're wrong, and that's okay. People are allowed to be wrong. So definitely think I'm gonna need a second coat here.
Speaking of Cajun recipes,
Yeah. So I'm mixing up a little bit of Gnarls green and some coal black, and I'm mix it into whatever I have left of that Iosin green. We're gonna use that as a little bit of a shade here for this top part of the dress.
So I've got my initial
This is pretty light too.
paint in on the fluffy part of the dress. I want to do purple, but it's a little light. So I'm going to give this a second to dry, and then I'm going to put a second coat down.
Just so it's not showing through some of that, some of the undercoat.
Well, the undercoating, because it's zenithal primed, it's
Right.
okay for it to show through a bit, but it's definitely showing through too much. Like if we look on the front, you can see that the first coat was too thin because the zenithal's patchy, and I want it to be a little bit smoother, especially because I plan on going in and doing a recess shade into every single little divot in the ruffles,
right. Like
and
those.
then doing a highlight over the whole thing. Oh, I see. You're doing your dress. See, my plan, I'm doing just the bottom on mine, and I plan on doing the top later in a different color. I want the classic sort of like the bottom is its own color, billowing out.
Yeah.
I see you're having hers actually flow up into her vest. Is that sort of how you're painting hers? Like, yeah, you've done the chest.
No, this is a separate piece, but it's the same color as the bottom.
You're doing it the same. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to do that like leather, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, like
I like that a lot.
black leather over
Yeah,
the purple dress.
I dig that. I
So
might
let's-
actually change mine to that. That's a pretty good idea.
Just give this a second to dry.
And I'm gonna do this in some like light frilly colors. Paint this in this coal black color.
Stryker says the roux is very hard. You can overstir it. It's a pain in the butt. He's right. Making roux is by far the hardest part of Cajun cooking. I mean, when I say Cajun cooking, I mean just traditional day-to-day family Cajun cooking. Nothing fancy. Though fancy Cajun cooking, while it exists, is kind of funny because the culture of the food was simple. What did we have available? What's in the cupboard and what can you make out of that? Cajun food is delicious, but uses just typically cheaper. You have rice, you have beans, you have some seafood available or whatever.
yeah,
you can go get out of
readily available.
yeah, and
foods.
whatever spice. Yeah, you didn't really need anything too fancy. It was built for a culture of people that didn't have a ton of money.
Man, gumbo sounds so good right now.
See, now I need to go.
It's
I'm writing down
particularly cold outside.
Etouffee because I've been hearing about it and I want to go make some.
It's like perfect weather for gumbo too.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Oh man, it's snowing. For those of you who don't live in Seattle, it's snowing outside right now. It's not sticking, thank goodness. Makes it easier to get to work, but it is snowing outside. So
Yeah, we'll see if this continues. There is a small possibility the weather will affect tomorrow's stream, but we are not anticipating that just yet.
if anything, I would be surprised if it affected tomorrow. It's probably more likely that next week will get affected because they're projecting quite a bit more snow coming in next week. At least a lot heavier snow.
That's about the consistency.
But we'll see. Nonetheless, I'm happy for snow. I like snow. Snow's great.
Oh, I hate snow.
Well, it's because
I'm with Hungerford. It was fun when I was a kid, and as an adult, it has lost much of its
Yeah,
charm.
we didn't have snow when I was a kid because when it snows in Louisiana, growing up the first 30 years of my life, it snowed, and when I say snow, I mean like ice came out of the sky that wasn't hail.
Hungerford center up on the screen.
Sure. Twice in my entire life, and the two times it happened where anything sort of stuck, it became immediately muddy and sort of like swampy snow.
Yeah.
And no one knew what to do. Like it was the end of the world. It was the end times. So snow and me are strangers even still to this day. I don't know how to deal with it.
Yeah, that's often how it is around here. We are not a flat city. We're basically built on the side of a giant,
hill.
several giant hills.
Yeah.
So a little bit of snow does cause some problems with getting around, but for the most part, I think my understanding is just simply that when it snows a lot, we just don't have like the infrastructure to deal with clearing roads efficiently and getting people around. So it feels like it's this giant, chaotic, apocalyptic problem. But really,
Have you driven in it? It is kind of a giant. I had to teach myself how to drive in the snow because of having to. When I lived I still live in Seattle, but I've lived in 3 different neighborhoods in Seattle. And when I lived in Eastlake, having to drive to Privateer to go to work, probably my first or second year working here, I had to teach myself how to drive in the snow because I had to go up this huge incline to get to the interstate.
yeah.
And I slid backwards down it twice before I waited for an 18-wheeler to go in front of me, and then I rode in their wake.
Yeah, that's the problem. All the hills.
By the way, speaking of second year of privateer. Today's the 9th, right?
Yep.
Tomorrow's the 10th. Do you know what the 10th is?
Is it a privateer anniversary?
It's my 10-year anniversary of Privateer Press.
Hungerford, 10 years of Privateer Press.
I'm gonna get you a little bit of a cupcake.
Congratulations.
A little bit of a cupcake?
I'm gonna get you a little bit of a
Just a
cupcake.
tiny bit of a
Get you a
cupcake.
little bit of a cupcake,
Just-
you know, just a little cupcake.
A decade. And you lined it up with a new decade.
And it's 10 years on the 10th.
What?
Girl.
Oh, look at you!
It's just
symmetrical
ones and
beautiful.
zeros for you.
The ones. So he's a robot.
That's your
Sweet.
proof. Robot confirmed.
So
Robot Hungerford.
Update us on your project or progress.
I'll paint it purple.
Please.
I'll paint it purple. Let's see if it'll refocus. It won't.
Put your hand behind it.
Put my hand. Oh,
Yeah.
like this?
Yeah.
And then sort
Yeah.
of. Oh God, this is weird. So it's drying right now. This is so. Okay. Yeah, it's drying right now. So I did the second thin coat, let it dry, and then that should give me the coverage I'm looking for, where just a little bit of the zenithal is showing through, just the tiniest amount, but not too much. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to mix my base color, beaten purple, with a darker color. What do you think, Jordan? Should I do Thamarite black or coal black or like a gray?
I think you said coal black before.
I really like coal black.
Coal black?
Yeah, it adds a little bit of color. It's still a little blue. It makes a really nice mix with the beaten purple and darkens it up.
Okay.
You might want to add a little bit of Thamar to it if it's not quite as dark as you'd like it to be. But
Would you think 1-to-1 here, or?
yeah, I mean, usually whenever I do a mix, I always start it at 1-to-1, and I'll change it as I see fit.
I want to hit a couple of comments here on Facebook. So first of all, from Ryan Burry, what purple is that, Will Hungerford?
Beaten purple, and beaten purple base coat, and I'm about to mix together beaten purple, coal black, and some mixing medium. I'm going to put probably 2-to-1 mixing medium to the two paints to create a really thin wash, like almost a glaze. And then by the time I'm done with that, this should be dry. And what I'm going to do is recess shade each of these little ridges in the dress. And we'll see how that comes out.
It's going to look good.
So I think I know the question you're coming up with here, Tony. From Carlo, we've got can you give pointers on painting white cloth and white armor plating? I would paint the two a little differently. Cloth tends to have a lot more texture than smooth white armor plating will. Generally for each, a good point of thumb when you're painting any sort of white is to not paint white. So what I mean by that is don't use white paint. Use off-whites. So in our range, a great example would be like Hammerfall Khaki or Menoth White Highlight or something like that, or Menoth White, which are all off-whites. They're not like a pure white color. And those will generally even be your highlights. So when I paint like Sorsha 3, for instance, is a great example, who's got this really nice white armor. I used a lot of like Trollbud highlight, which is like a warm gray. And then I shaded it down with some more grays, and then I highlighted it back up with the white colors as just the highlight. And that really, really sells white more than just using white paint. Because white paint, A, has terrible coverage, and it's awful, awful, awful to use as a base coat. So using something underneath it, which is bright, is a really, really good way to build up that color. Frostbite's another great example of a color you can use. It's a little bright. That's something that I would only ever use as like a final highlight.
Right.
And I have used Frostbite when I paint white before. In fact, Frostbite is built into the recipe for the Infernal White skin for the horrors. It's the second highlight. The second highlight is Frostbite and Rinflesh, which creates this kind of like eerie, skin colory, like super pale skin tone. So
if somebody wanted to get comfortable painting white, then a technique that they could use then would be to take their Moro white and just make it unavailable.
Right.
Like this is
Yep.
not a color I am going to use
Yep.
to paint this white.
Yep. Try going with the darker colors, and you want it to be colorful. Like your white should be colorful. It should have some elements of other colors in it.
And there's and like I don't know if you can how much you can go into it now, but there are ways to make things appear white based on what you are painting it nearby as well, right?
Yep. It's kind of the same process that we had for painting the yellow, which we did on the shield of the Nayslayer Warhorse. Many streams
Yes,
ago.
it's been a while.
But I mean, we can probably do another stream coming up about painting white or painting yellow if people want to hear that. I think that would be kind of a fun stream to do. We just have to find the right model for it. That'll be good for a demonstration.
While you've been doing this, I've just been experimenting over here, and this is the color I've sort of ended up with. Can you see it?
Nice, yeah.
Is that right?
So the weird thing about mixing medium is it really like brightens whatever color you put it in.
Yeah, well, I was super too dark. I was way too dark. I think this is about right compared to that purple. Like this.
You can
this
also
looks-
use Piggy Purple ink, somebody mentioned here in the chat. Is a pretty good one. I got some over here if you want.
No, I think I'm going to try with what I just did. I want to give this a shot.
Okay. Well, if it doesn't work, there's some Piggy Purple ink.
Now the thing is, I'm way too thick right now, so I'm not going to use any more mixing medium. I'm just going to
water it
adding
down.
water.
Yeah, water it down. Generally, you have to add water to the mix because mixing medium is just paint.
Right.
It's paint without pigment, so it thins out the pigment in your mix, but it doesn't
Because I need this.
thin it down from a like viscous standpoint, right?
And what I need is this. See, even that's still too thick right there. I need this really, really runny.
Sean Malone on Facebook asked what model we're painting. We are painting the Thamarite Advocate.
Hungerford,
Yeah, man.
can you tell us a little about this Thamarite advocate? Who is she?
Well, she's an advocate of Thamar, the god, and she likes bats
Clearly.
a whole bunch. She's a snappy dresser. When she's walking around Caspia, people were like, "Who's your tailor?" And she's like, "What are you talking about?" But yeah, that's it.
Is it so? In the lore of the Iron Kingdoms, are Thamarites commonly like
They're hidden.
like bourgeois,
No, well,
upper class?
no. Thamarites kind of come from all walks of life. But the thing is, like being a public Thamarite is not a thing you do. That's why Fiona the Black is so sort of known, is that she's brazenly and openly a Thamarite.
Right.
And until the Infernal Invasion, if you were a Thamarite, you tried to stay mostly to the shadows and be hidden. There we go. Now we're getting to the right consistency here. So the Advocates have come out because the Infernals are showing up and they're sort of needed. That's why it's a Thamarite Advocate.
Right.
It's advocating the love and power of Thamar. We'll give a couple more bits of water here. I want this a little bit runnier, but we've made about the sort of wash I want to use here, the glaze, I guess.
I imagine
She stole that.
they come out during this time because much like a fair weather sports fan, the Infernals start taking the lead, and they're like, or Thamar starts showing up. And they've been like, "I've been a fan of yours the whole time. I promise."
Let me check this one more. Is that streaking like I want it to? Yeah. See that little effect it's doing? That's what I want. That means we're getting into the right liquid consistency. I'm gonna give this one.
So, I had a good question for both of you guys. We can go over mine as well. What are you guys' painting New Year's resolutions? Have you thought about this?
Yep.
What are your
added
plans for 2020.
I have added painting to my gym routine. Before I would paint sort of whenever I could. But now, before or after I go to the gym, I make sure I spend at least 30 minutes painting. Therefore, I'm setting myself a minimum amount of painting I'm doing per week.
Nice.
That's excellent, man.
I like this.
But tying it to something I'm already doing on a regular basis it just helps the consistency of it.
Well, certainly the habit of saying I do this for this period of time, especially at a specific time, yeah, you're going to get something done.
My own camera? No, I'm not. So let me move this out of the way so I can see where my target lock is.
What about you, Jordan? What do you got?
I want to finish a lot more personal projects this year. I got the Totem Huntress done last year, which I actually brought into the office, Tony. I don't know if you got a chance to take a look at it.
I haven't.
But I do have it here.
Interesting. How will this look if I do this?
Which was a lot of fun. For those of you who don't know, I started painting a 75 millimeter Totem Huntress at Gen Con, and I finished it up to a really, really high standard, and put it on a nice plinth and stuff. Took it with me to Nova, which was cool.
No.
Got to hang out with some cool painting friends up there. Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun, and I really am looking forward to doing some more projects like that in 2020.
Yeah, it looked great, man.
Just got to figure out what it's gonna be.
My plan changed immediately. I started recess shading it, and I was like, this is thin enough that I'm just going to just sort of glaze it over the entire model.
Do it. I'm not super happy with where this screen's going.
Yeah.
See, I'm loving it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
tell me what your problems are, because I'm looking at it saying I like what
care
you've
for
done
the
on the
color.
dark bottom.
Maybe it's just I'm not really a green person.
Oh, that's too much.
Stick with it. Stick with it. Take it all the way.
I don't know.
Don't change it. Make it work.
Red's calling to me, dude.
No.
Red is calling to me.
No.
No.
Red is gorgeous and wonderful.
All right,
but I am personally
All right.
challenging you to stick with this green and make it work.
I mean, I'll make it work. Part of it is I've been painting a lot of green already for work for the last couple of days.
Okay.
So I'm a little greened out, as it were.
Yeah, Dorian Clampett, or Stryker. Yeah, this model is for War Machine, but would make a fantastic vampire model.
All right, let's do some fun stuff.
Oh yeah, this is gonna turn out great once this dries. It's gonna get in all those little recesses.
All right, I'm just gonna put some colors on here, and we're gonna go. It's still gonna be green, but I'm just gonna go places with this and see where it's gonna take me.
It's doing that shading effect I love to see, which I don't know if that shows it really well on camera because it's purple and purple.
We're seeing what it's doing.
Yeah, boy.
I think it'll really pop once you start hitting the
highlights.
The highlights.
Yeah,
but you can see that it's coming through.
Yeah, I was saying I think the darkness in the recesses that's starting to form is maybe a little hard to catch up on camera.
So I'm taking a little bit of sulfuric yellow here and mixing it into Iosan green. I'm just putting some highlights in here. Changing up this color a bit.
And is your plan right now to bring the bottom hem of the dress, I think, and the middle green part up to the same color?
I have no plans right now.
Okay.
I'm just putting color in some places, and eventually I will come up with a plan. This is what I do a lot when I'm in a weird place with a paint job of mine. When I don't really know what to do, I just kind of start putting paint places and stop thinking about it. Mm-hmm. And eventually I'll come to a conclusion about something or a direction where I want to go with it. I've just noticed that like a lot of the times I can just like overthink something, and like I instinctively know what looks good and what doesn't, right? So I'm just gonna pick colors and put stuff places until I think it looks good, and then from there I can refine and pull it a little bit more into a direction that I want to go.
All right. I'm very excited once this dries so I can get my highlights down, because I think once the highlights hit, this is going to start looking really good. Like it's a little flat right now, but that's just because it's just a base coat and, like the shading.
See that? That I think is way too bright. So I'm going to bring that back down to something a little bit more manageable. But I like that color. So maybe we're going to go for more of like a green yellow.
I should probably
I'm not even joking. Like, this is just how it goes sometimes with me. It's just like, you know what? I don't really like this at all. Okay, cool. I kind of like that color. I'll keep that color. You know what? I like that color a lot more now. So I'm just gonna paint the whole thing that color, and then I just kind of go from there, like from there, there. And I might do. Let's see here. Let me find some worm green.
While I'm waiting for my
hey there, Eric Swinson. Hello.
while I'm waiting for my dress glaze to dry, I'm just gonna put down a quick base coat on the bat.
And in that time, Hungerford, Quasator wants to know, what is the FA on Thamarite Advocates?
I'd have to look. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Okay.
I have 1,250 models in my brain. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it gets a little difficult to remember every single little detail.
Ryan Burry wants to know, do we have more purples coming out in the P3 paint line? We have, I know we have...
Trying to think over like what colors we have coming out.
Amethyst Rose is not...
So, I mean, Bad Brews and Amethyst Rose
Bad
are...
Brews is
like,
fantastic.
Those two have purple in them. So they're like purple adjacent.
Yeah.
On both sides of the spectrum, right?
Yeah.
Towards the red and toward the blue.
They would be good additions to
Yes, we do.
using purple colors.
We have like a lavender color coming out. Royal Violet.
Oh, okay, nice. I didn't. I wasn't aware of Royal Violet.
You are. We've had it on,
Has
on
was
stream
one of them?
before. Yeah.
Okay.
We have Royal Violet. I don't know off the top of my head if we have any others. There's a lot of colors that we've got coming up. There's a lot of them. So there's a lot of sweet stuff to check out. Coming soon to a stream near you.
Bum, bum, bum.
Bum, bum, bum. Okay.
All right. I see Hungerford is painting his bat.
Well, yeah, I'm just...
and going brown bat.
Yeah, what I'm doing is just basically I'm waiting for that dress to finish drying. So in the meantime, might as well make up some time and get some other base colors down. But today's stream, what I'm trying to focus on is the bottom half of the dress. Get it based, get it shaded, and then give it a quick highlight and see if I can't get it to a kind of like tabletop ready standard. Because purple's an interesting color. There's ways to like speed paint using just glazes, but I've never found a way to speed paint using glazes with purple that I like. It always ends up a little too streaky and a little too runny.
Purple is the weirdest color of them all.
Purple, in my opinion, has to be, you have to take your time with it and go a little slower. And even then, I'm doing it very fast, right? I just did a base coat. I mixed together. I sort of like experimented and did a mad scientist mix of coal black and purple to create my shading, just to give some definition in here. And then I'm honestly just probably going to dry brush Murderous Magenta over it. Because I've got all these ruffles, these little buttons, these lines. Like, this should dry brush up pretty well.
I thought Jordan was going to show you an alternative method to dry brushing.
I mean, he might, but also he's got his green to worry about. He's got to
Don't worry about me. Worry about you.
No, I'm worried about you.
I'm fine.
I worry about you all the time.
Why do you worry about me all the time?
I'm just a caring person like that. You've never had gumbo.
I have had gumbo.
You never had good gumbo.
I thought we agreed that gumbo we had at Adepticon last year was
It was
good.
okay.
It was pretty good.
It was okay.
It wasn't bad gumbo. You would
Sure.
have told me if it were
I
bad
didn't
gumbo.
like walk in the back and hit the cook, but like it was okay.
I'm so glad that you did not walk in the back and hit the cook.
It's not compared to actual homemade Louisiana gumbo.
I have asked on more than one occasion for you to make gumbo for me,
I don't
so I can experience it truly.
I don't condone violence typically, but I do now have this fantasy where you and I are having dinner together. You taste food, and then very calmly you just stand up, adjust your sleeves, and then go, I got to go talk to a guy.
Yep.
And then just walk to the back.
Or alternatively, he just goes into the back, kicks the chef out of the kitchen, and he's just like, let me show you how to make some gumbo.
You just hear a lot of clattering.
Yeah, see, that shade I made is doing like the underneath the buttons around this ruffle here has got like, there's a good shadow forming. It's perfect. It's perfect. All that while y'all were talking for like 10 minutes, I was just I was like more purple, more cold black, more mixing medium, water,
Dude,
water,
you
water.
gotta experiment, man.
And I was just messing around basically until I ended up with this watery dark concoction for comparison for anybody watching at home. Let me move her real fast. So this is the color purple I was using, and that is the color of the shade I ended up making. So still purple-y, right? But definitely darker.
I don't even see it at all. Where is it? Oh, it's off camera. Okay.
No, it's on my side.
But it's off camera. I was looking on camera to see it.
Are you looking at your camera?
I can see you.
Can you see what's in front of me on my paint station?
What's on camera, yeah?
It's on camera right now. I'm looking at it.
No. It's
Tony, is my paint showing up on camera?
no. You're the model.
I'm not talking about the model. I'm
Oh,
talking about the
okay.
paint.
All right. Yeah, all right.
I was literally talking about the paint.
All right. Never mind. Then.
Andrew DeRoma asks, what are you both looking forward to most at LVO?
Jordan not
LVO.
questioning me about what's on camera.
Better communication between Hungerford and myself.
I'm looking forward to playing Riot Quest with a lot of people.
I am also likewise looking forward to that, to checking out some sweet paint jobs, and to just generally hanging out. It's a cool show. I went to it for the first time last year, and I had a really good time.
So Jordan, to what I was speaking of,
Yes.
what I was saying is this is the color, the base color I used, right?
Yeah.
And then after a bunch of experimentation, this is the super runny wash I made.
Yes.
Does that still look purple to you?
Yeah.
And does it look dark enough in comparison to this purple? Like
I would make it darker.
you would make it darker?
Oh yeah.
See, I felt if I went any darker, it would end up almost like black.
I mean,
I don't know. See,
I think go a little darker.
if I look at the model now that it's drying, like the definition of the ruffles to me looks, now that I've added that shade, I really like it. I'm happy with it.
Good.
And that's what matters.
That is what matters.
Now let's dry brush it.
You don't need to dry brush it.
I know, but I like dry brushing things.
That's cool.
They're all tools in a toolbox.
I'm much happier with how the screen's coming out now.
Like, I could blend, right? And I could edge highlight all this stuff, but I don't want to. I've got 20 minutes left on the stream. We still have P3 painters to do. I want this to
do
look.
still have P3
I want this to look great, so I'm gonna just dry brush it real quick, and then later on, because you can get a model ready, right, by having it table ready, and then later on, especially if you dry brush, you can go back over your dry brush and add thinner highlights and really make it look better.
It's true.
There's like table ready, and then there's like competition ready.
I do.
There's a big difference between those two.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course there is.
In my own experience, I find it that my percent, anytime I've painted a model to a certain thing, saying I will come back and do it later and get it up to another, is exactly 0%.
Oh, I do.
I don't
I've
tend
never
to do that.
done that once. Once the model is painted, even if I intend to do more later, once it's painted and I put it down and consider it done for the time being, it's done.
I use it as more of an example of like where it's a good like reference point to look back on and be like, hey, I can do better than this. This is something. So instead of stopping here, I would go further. So
Let's see, how's that look? It's pretty.
I like dry brushing just like everybody else, but I use it a lot more infrequently.
Well, I do go back to things, and I think a lot of people get intimidated with trying to paint an army, or they run out of steam, or they don't finish their projects because they feel they have to paint everything to its final version instead of just being able to get something table ready and then getting the army table ready and then coming back and revisiting it later. And I think as long as you're happy with what it will look like as a cohesive army, and if you want to go back in and add more detail to some of the more important characters, done is better than perfect. And there's always time to perfect it later, because
I agree.
if you're going to burn out, I mean, how many people watching right now have started a project, started an army for some game, and then not finished it because they ground out trying to get every little thing right? Just don't do that. Just, finish it. Finish it to the best of your ability and the time you're willing to commit. And if you want to go back later, go back later.
There's also another thing that came up recently.
That highlight is looking. Hold on, Tony.
There we go.
We're going to get there, boys.
Another thing that came up is I know we've got a lot of viewers in here who watch regularly and paint regularly, but there may be some of you out there who are newish to the hobby. And I guess if you're not, it still affects me, but it's just also the oftentimes the satisfaction of painting doesn't happen in the middle of the model.
No.
Like when it took a little bit of work of just painting a lot of models, but you start to realize that things don't start coming together. The model doesn't look right or correct until maybe the last 10%. I mean, really,
it's a really small margin.
Yeah, you might realize stuff is working or you like where it's going, but I'll look at stuff and just be like, this is just not at all what I want. And then I spend that last little 10% getting the details and getting that extra shade or hitting that highlight or putting in the eyes or cleaning things up, and everything just comes together. So if you're kind of feeling like when you're painting, you feel frustrated at consistent points and if you're not finishing anything, just remember, just push through the model. And try and get to the end and then see where your results are at.
I think part of the problem that I'm having with this model is it's not drying. Like, I'm waiting for a good period of time to try and get this stuff to dry, and it's just not drying for some reason. Like this bottom part, you guys can even see that.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, I
It's
can see the shine, yeah.
It's been wet this whole time. I've been like trying to do highlights, and just like the bottom layer is just not at all dry in any way, shape, or form. It's making it really, really difficult to do this in the streaming environment right now. It might just be too cold.
My thing's going
It's
great.
it's a little chilly.
It's a little chilly in here.
I got to turn the heater off for sound.
What we should also do is we should take some time and do some P3 painters.
Look how
P3
good, wait, hold on.
painters!
Look how good that looks. Yeah. I'm very excited about it.
Should we go to P3 painters real quick?
Yep, here we go. Hold on. Oh no, I'm pressing wrong buttons and I'm not prepared. Hold
goodness,
on.
what are
Okay.
you doing?
Hold on. Back up. Zip, 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 zip. And P3 painters.
Eric recommended that you add some Frostbite to that murderous magenta.
I might actually.
This is awesome.
So we got this first Shrieker model from TW Bernhard.
I love this.
It's all Pan's Labyrinth.
This is like super converted. This
know what?
is way cool.
You know what my favorite thing aside from this conversion is?
What?
This base is sweet.
Yeah, it's a good looking base. I
base.
love all the multi-toned
Base is really,
flagstones.
really good. Yeah, it's really good.
This is just a good looking that weird flesh color too.
I like it.
The
I like it
fleshy
with that like
demon.
brown under. Yep. Yeah. No, this is sweet.
Yeah, very nice.
I want to see a whole Infernal Army.
I want to
like
see
this.
lots of these. Excellent. Very cool.
TW Bernhard.
Excellent job.
Give us more.
All right, and then another one. It's models in a similar vein. Also an Infernals
This is
model.
amazing. And
But
I
this
love
is
this.
from Tomas Paints.
Yep, Predator's sake. Yep, I knew
It's
it
just
exactly
that
when I
coloring
saw it.
absolutely looks like a predator.
Didn't read the caption earlier. I was like, this looks like a Predator's face.
Yeah, this looks really good.
This is really dope.
Tomas had a
This is a
bunch
really
of
good combination of colors.
he had a bunch of submissions on here where he has this. Let's see if there's some more shows of it. Oh, I think he had two models of the same. I think his double Soul Stalkers, but he had a lot of models that had this black that then fades from black to yellow, and so they have that kind of green cast right in the middle, and it's an unconventional
That looks really
look, and so it's give it a very unique aesthetic. So nice job, Tomas.
I love this.
All right, back to painting.
Oh, I thought we had a third one. Okay.
Nope.
Look at me.
Just those two today. And if you have models that you would like to send to us and have a look at. We love seeing everything. If you hashtag P3 Painters to all the social media, but it's primarily to Instagram is where we see most of it the most frequently. And if you are interested in having us talk about them and show them off on the stream, send them in.
We do check all of them.
We do check everything.
There's just a much larger volume that we get through Instagram than we get through the other social medias. All right.
So I'm going to check in with
I'm getting in
I'm
here
going to
now
check
that
in with
this
the
is
chat.
a lot more dry. I'm going to go in here and put some real highlights in here.
Dry brush. What kind of paper is this, Tony?
Paper? I think it's just paper towel.
But this is like a different. This is nice. This is like a nice paper towel right here, bro.
Oh, I don't scrimp on paper towels.
I don't.
Screwfizzle wanted to know when my paint stream start date was. Screwfizzle, can you be more specific? I'm not quite sure what you're asking.
The key.
I've been here since the beginning of paint streams.
I have not. I'm almost at a year though.
Yeah, Jordan, you started last.
Yeah, I'm almost at a year.
Oh yeah, because
Like,
it would have been
real
last
close.
January, like within days or weeks,
Yeah.
just a couple weeks maybe. Man, that's crazy. I got to give Jordan an applause. We gave Hungerford his 10-year applause. And
Don't-
Jordan hosting Get Your Paint On for 1 year.
Don't congratulate me.
Don't congratulate you.
Don't congratulate.
I'm right behind you, man.
Listen, I don't need congratulations.
I'm much further behind you. I'm at a. I mean, I'm coming on 4 years. I think 3.
It's been 10 years of blood, sweat, and tears, Tony.
I've done
Just
2
rowing
Gen
and
Cons
rowing.
Just rowing this boat.
now. Wait, Hungerford, how many Gen Cons have I been at with Privateer?
I don't know.
I think it's at least 2, might be 3, because I started right after Gen Con 2017,
It's getting
18,
there.
19, 20. Okay, so yeah, so we're coming up on 3 full years.
You know what the most important part of dry brushing is?
Putting paint on your brush,
Taking time.
taking time.
Yeah, adding the highlight slowly. I learned, if you do it too heavy, you end up with a big streaky mess. But if you just sit there and just dry brush and dry brush and dry brush, you'll slowly build up that color. You'll get exactly what you want. And it's starting I'm at that point. I'm at that moment right now where the red is starting to show exactly how I want it to on this dress, and it is making me very happy.
Gabriel Justy says, a friend of mine is working on a galleon with a sweet base. Should I convince him to use the hashtag P3 Painter? Hell yeah, you should convince him to use hashtag
yeah, you
P3
should.
Painters. We want to see all that awesome stuff people are working on. Screwfizzle wants to know, when did I start so you can sync painting quality and progression? Well, I wasn't painting on camera when we started doing the paint streams, but I can say that after 72 episodes of Formula P3 Presents and coming up on 3 years of Get Your Paint On, and just generally hanging around with hobbyists, both professional and not, my painting has gone through the roof in the time that I've started at Privateer. I'm pretty spoiled because I get to hang out with Jordan. Studio or sculpting director Ron Cruzy is a magnificent painter as well, and so I just have free access to these people to be like, hey, what do you think of this? What should I do? Where should I go? Am I doing this all right? Got a new technique? And I exploit that perk very often.
And I exploit them.
I think it's funny that
Oh! What are you doing?
What the
You
hell?
let me talk and just, I thought maybe Your silence said, I'm interested in what you're saying, and what you chose to do
It's not there anymore, I promise. It's gone. See, it's gone.
is just, all right, I'm back. I'm
gone.
fine. It's good. It's all
It's come
good.
back. It's
Jordan
back.
started painting over the green in just
Starts painting
George
orange,
lost 6 viewers. Lost a producer as well.
Oh, no. All right.
We have a
I'll
producer?
go back. I'll go back. I promise. I won't stop. I won't stop now. Oh, gosh.
Oh, man.
All right. So let's see. How did that?
We need to have a talk after this,
need to have a
Jordan.
talk
A
after
serious, serious talk
My indecisiveness.
about trust.
Yeah.
Nice, dude. We getting Alex says dry brushes. That red dry brush is looking great.
Yeah. Like, hold on. Let me see if I can get it closer to the camera because it's let's. Yeah. See, like, it's just created the definition I was looking for. Like, I need to work on, and we're gonna run out of time. I need to work on getting the trim here a little bit brighter, but like. This section just above my fingernails is what I was going for, right? Was like purple shade, dry brush highlight, like everything's just nice, neat. You can see where it is. Got some of that here with some soft highlights along the bottom. I could actually see taking the second to go in and edge highlight that ruffle line down there just to make it really stand out. Let me.
Did you try hitting it with that dry brush, adding the frostbite?
Yeah, I was gonna say a little extra highlight pop on that would.
I'm going to try
be
just a
worth
quick.
looking at.
I'm going to take just straight murderous magenta because this is sort of an experiment. I just want to see. And I want to attempt to, being that I dry brushed the soft highlight, I want to try an edge highlight with murderous magenta over that line and just see what it ends up looking like. I will admit that beaten purple is not a color I've painted much with, so the shading highlighting process of it is something I'm experimenting with here. I am a much bigger fan of like greens, reds, and browns. That's like my go-to.
I want to jump in real fast because we got a couple questions. People asking what the hashtags are for sending stuff in for us to look at for painting. Hashtag P3 Painters is what we do for paint jobs, and then we also have P3 Kit Bashers, which is where you can send in your model conversions, custom builds, anything like that. And Brian and Danny on the Hobby Hangout, which we'll have an episode tomorrow, take a look at those and like to show off what people are making.
Let's see.
All right. Just because I appreciate you guys and you guys seem to like the green, we're going to go back to green. It's coming back. I'll have to let it dry more, but
Yeah, that edge highlight helps a little
it'll
bit.
go green.
Just hold it. When you hold it like that, it makes me happy. When you start to rotate it, I get angry. Yeah.
Let's hold it at this angle.
In fact, now that I've said that, I almost want you to paint the back side like exactly on a hard line so you get the Jekyll and Hyde Two-Face
Red,
effect.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And having dry brushed earlier, where I need to put my highlights is like super clear to me.
Wedding in the front, Thamarite in the back.
Please don't ever say that again. There are connotations to that statement that I don't think you're fully aware of. Yeah, a little quick edge highlight. This is an easy edge highlight too because I can just use the side of my brush because it's so pronounced, the detail.
Let's see here.
All right, now let's boop in there and get those little buttons. Really water that down. I might have watered it down too much. That's about right, right?
Or I could do like a glow coming
there.
from it. It's all red glow. Really cool.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Why does this dress have rivets?
You know, we live in a world full of War Machine. And War Machine models have rivets on them
Why does this dress have rivets?
because it's a War Machine model. And rivets, yo.
And rivets, yo.
Because steampunk, yo.
Steampunk dresses don't have rivets.
Maybe in your brain they don't.
Ember Wild says they're not rivets, but they're pearls.
Okay,
Well, these
there you
aren't
go.
pearls.
Why are you painting them like rivets then?
Well, I'm not. I'm painting them red. I'm painting them like little decorations on her dress.
Yeah, buttons. Dragon Pup says tivets, or is it tivets? I'm not familiar with that one. What is a tivet?
Crap. I made
Oh,
my first
rivet. Maybe it's rivets made from pearls, and it's a typo.
Made my first boo-boo. Armored dresses. Hashtag. Why do you have rivets
We've
on
got
your dress?
we've got a request, Jordan, for you to do a painting demo on painting like black and white.
Black and white?
Yeah, I mean,
Sure.
I don't know just painting black and white, but I think your overall aesthetic and color scheme is just painting in
like
white,
grayscale?
grayscale.
Yeah, I
Being
can
able
do
to
that.
add some color to that. There's some fun you can do with that.
Yeah, we can do that.
Like that.
And on
All
that
right.
note, please let us know. Give us some feedback on the show. What do you like? What
Yeah.
would you like to see more of? If you have questions, specific questions, please send them to us.
What's a good place for us to get that sent to?
Streamer 2020 at Privateer Press.
What?
Streamer 2020.
Streamer 2020 at privateerpress.com.
Is that a new thing?
Yes, as of this week.
We want to make the show as good as possible. And if you guys have suggestions on what you'd like to see, we can do that.
Why do we suddenly move? Now,
2020 is a good year to start fresh and do new things. I'm excited about this year, except for the cold that I got at the beginning of this year, which was brutal. It was fantastic. Got a nice little cold. I'm recovering pretty well, which is good.
I don't know. Tell me what do you think?
I'm loving it.
Yeah?
Yep, I would. I would like to see it go even brighter on your highlights.
The what?
I love the color. I like to see it go brighter on the highlights.
You want to see it even brighter?
brighter? I like them popping.
I was going with I wanted her to be dark.
Dark.
Hold on. I think also let me just put this here. See if that helps us show any better.
Striker has some
To
good
keep tricking
feedback.
Tony into talking before repainting them all.
Have I
Definitely
ever,
why I was so quiet.
have I
during the
ever banned
process.
anybody from chat? Has that been done? I've got at least one, right? It's a new year. I get to start over.
You gotta start over, man.
Striker.
Hungerford, this is looking very good.
Yeah, no, it's like this is close to a table ready dress, right? Like I could finish the top of this and play with her, and I would, the red showing through. I'm happy with it enough to be like, I would play with this model, and then go back later and do more work, obviously. But for 1 hour of work on a dress that has a bunch of frills, I'm pretty happy with where we got.
Right on.
Any progress is good progress.
Any progress is good.
Paint it up. In fact, on that note, Jordan, why don't you roll us out of here?
I will roll us out of here. It is 11 o'clock, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. Tune in tomorrow to check out Hobby Hangout with Danny and my brain's not working.
Brian.
Brian, thank you. My goodness. Thanks, everybody, for all of our subscribers and all of you viewers here today. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
We love you. We love you and everything you do. We love you.